Hey guys, welcome back. And back by popular demand, episode 3 of What's Wrong with This Insurance Estimate. And I thought that I would do something a little bit differently this time. If you've caught the other episodes that we've gone through insurance estimates and we showed the difference between where an estimate started and where it ended up after submitting an Xactimate estimate to the carrier. And they were larger wins. So this one here is more of a smaller job. So you may say, well, what about the smaller, everyday, average residential jobs that are lower in dollar amounts and lower in scope and size? And what about those? And so this one here is where we take an original State Farm estimate that started out at almost $13,100, so it's 13090.62, and we submitted an Xactimate estimate for 22,378.66, and we got an approval back for 15,864.44. So about an additional $2,800 that was gained. So it is a win, and it's some numbers that I'm sure a lot of you guys would take every day on most jobs. So, and State Farm's tough. You know, they're tough to work with most of the time, as I'm sure that most of you know. They're extremely strict, and they try to utilize like a one-size-fits-all approach that doesn't always work. So let's go through this. This is the original State Farm estimate for a job in Ohio for one of our clients who is a contractor, and this is for a homeowner, their customer. And it is mostly just a roofing and siding type claim. And if you notice on State Farm estimates, the first page here is sort of like an example to teach the homeowner and contractors what it actually means, right? So we'll go through that, and then if you didn't catch this before, we're whiting out certain blotches of this, but we left certain things in place so that you can match up like the last three of the claim number, etc. So you know that it's a valid. So we're talking about the same claim here, same property, same date of loss, etc. So this job, here's just a breakdown of the RCV, the deductible, the actual cash value, the first amount paid out, the amounts that, if incurred, that they also owe. Let's just sort of skip down here into the nitty gritty. All right, the roof. And we just have a very standard 3-tab shingle roof, 16.77 squares, not very large. Couple of things to notice. So we talked about in the other episodes, and one that State Farm is notorious for is that they don't like to pay R&R, the remove and the replace. So typically you'll see in estimates, like in the flashing pipe jack, you see flashing pipe jack and you think, okay, great, they've got the flashing pipe jacks in there. But in actuality, that's wrong. It's not supposed to be flashing pipe jack. It's supposed to be R&R flashing pipe jack. Much like where they have the flashing, the L flashing down here, that's actually correct because it has the remove and the replace. So what State Farm is saying is that we're not going to pay you to remove the pipe jacks or the turtle vents or the exhaust caps or the chimney flashing. We're just going to pay you to replace it. And what about those items? And they'll say, well, those items, the removal of those items are already included in the removal of the shingles. And they are definitely not. And we covered that in our last episodes, and I'll cover it again briefly here. And as you can see, as you'll be able to see here, State Farm actually saw the light and approved it the way that it was supposed to be at the end. So for some, you may say, well, they'll never approve that because that's wrong, or whatever the case may be. But you'll be able to see that they did indeed approve it, and I'll get into more about what the description for removal of shingles and felt actually means here in a few moments. So this is the original State Farm estimate, front elevation. Okay, so we're going to deal with a little bit of aluminum siding, and this is a good one. This is something that's to learn from. There's a lot of items in siding. When you're removing and replacing siding, there should be a lot of other accompanying items with that. for example, if you're looking at the front, right, rear, left elevation and you're doing all the siding, what about the window shutters, detach, reset? What about the light fixtures, detach, reset? What about the gutter downspouts? What about the address letters or the address number signs? What about the mailbox, detach, reset? Window wraps is a really, really big one. As you can see here, they've got the wrap wood window frame and trim, and the garage door, the aluminum wrap that goes around that, that's going to need to be removed and replaced when removing and replacing the aluminum siding, and they've got that accounted for for 3 wood windows here and for the garage door. Now, but those items there missed a lot. They missed those so many times, and if you can see, just one window, just an average size window, in this market is $182.65. That's quite a lot. I mean, the garage door, to wrap that garage door 34 linear feet, is $387.45. Now, when adjusters miss those and the contractors don't catch it and don't realize that it should be included in there, I mean, just right there on the front elevation alone, if you were to miss those 2 items right there, my goodness, that's already about $1,000 that you're off, right? So you've got your siding, remove and replace siding, remove and replace house wrap. Now, another thing that is a typical issue that's up for debate is, do we use waste factors for the siding and for the house wrap? Now, I'll tell you that the opponents of of this position are going to say, no, you don't, because Xactimate already includes waste in the materials. So like if you were to print out a components list at the end of an estimate, it'll show you like the items that you need to go and buy. And it's going to give you a list that's big enough that will include waste. Right. So, now if you follow that line of thinking, that's fine. But just keep in mind, is it covered if there's a lot of windows? Are there a lot of windows and doors, obstructions? So if you have more windows or lots of cuts that are going to need to be made, then you're going to want to use a waste factor for the siding, for the house wrap, and for something else that's missing from this, which is the fan fold insulation. That's a big one. So, and not all houses are going to have the fan fold insulation, but if the fan fold insulation is missing, that's a big one too. So front elevation, right elevation, we've got the siding again, house wrap, no window wraps or no fan fold insulation there. We've got remove and replace gutters and downspouts, siding, house wrap, that's in the rear, and then left elevation, aluminum siding, house wrap, and that's basically it. We probably should have a little single axle dump truck load here, and that's it. So we go to the very end, got a little sketch there, grand total, where we're at, where they started was 13090.62. So then we wrote an estimate, Xactimate estimate. Again, a lot of the logo and things are whited out there. We have a little statement in the front here about overhead and profit, which works sometimes and other times it doesn't work. Can you take it to appraisal? Can you get a PA involved? Can you get your homeowner to write a letter to do other things than what's listed here? Absolutely. So it just depends on the timing that you have involved and the professional that you're working with, quite honestly. And let's see. The roof, remove shingles. Note that this item does not include anything other than the removal of the shingles and felt. It does not include the removal of the ridge caps, the starter strip, the valley metal, drip edge, vents, pipe jacks, or anything else. All other items must be accounted for separately. Also, any mention of the dump/waste removal above does not apply to any other items on this job other than the shingles and felt. And this is only if the contractor is using their own equipment. This is why there's a dumpster item in the general conditions section of this estimate. And then so we put just below that the official Xactware description for just that one item, just the removal of shingles and felt. This is what Xactware, the maker of Xactimate, says what's included with that item is dump fees, hauling, disposal, and labor to remove 3-tab shingles and felt. It doesn't say anything else about pipe jacks and turtle vents and all those other things that they try to tell you is already included, like drip edge. Like I noticed conveniently from the original State Farm estimate, not only did they have in their roof wrong about not having the R&R in there, but they were also missing quite a few other things. They were missing drip edge, 268 linear feet. I don't know of any standards that would keep that out of this estimate. That should have been there. It was there before and should be there. Let's see, meter mass for overhead power, detach and reset, $354.66. All it takes is a photo for that. Oh, you don't need to remove that. You just need to, work around it. No, I mean, I'm telling you right now, they approved to detach and reset the meter mass. So you don't have to work around it. You can work around it if you want to, but that's not the standards. They do approve. If it's there and you take a picture, they will pay you, even State Farm, I'll prove it to you, to detach and reset the meter mass for the overhead power. $354.66 in this market. If you're missing that, you're missing dollar signs. So the pipe jack, this is how it should look. R&R flashing pipe jack. The R&R should be in front of that, which means that you're including the removal as well as the replacement. So R&R roof vent, turtle type metal, R&R exhaust cap through roof up to 4 inches, R&R chimney flashing. And ice and water shield. They were missing that completely. That's code in this market. Step flashing, 29 linear feet. Step flashing, 29 linear feet is $336.93. That's a big omission from the estimate. The flashing, I believe they had a little flashing in there. Drip. Okay, so again, we break down in our estimates. If you haven't seen our other episodes, what we do is remove shingles, remove drip edge, remove flashing, and then detach, reset, R&R some of your vents and metals and flashing, things like that. And then we go back with replace. There is no removal item for ice and water shield, which is why you don't see that broken out 2 times. There is no removal item for step flashing, which is why you don't see that broken out 2 times. There is for the flashing. So remove, replace flashing, replace drip edge, replace shingles with waste. All right, so you got a 10% waste factor there, 10% waste factor with the roll roofing, which, it's already got a 50% overlap. They may or may not give you. It really is up for interpretation, because unless you know precisely exactly how much waste, you're just using an estimated figure. So I know that's been a debate in the past, but this is an estimate. This is not, so that when you're writing an estimate, it's an estimated figure. So seal and paint trim, 2 coats, 268. All right, front elevation, remove. Same thing, remove, and then replace. So remove siding, remove fan fold insulation, remove house wrap, and then remove and replace your window wraps, your garage door trim, replace your house wrap, replace your fan fold insulation, replace your siding. Okay, so, and actually, you can actually even make a case, depending on how many windows there are, that you would have to have waste factor on the house wrap and the fan fold foam insulation as well. I realize that that's not a standard thing you want to do on a normal everyday house. I'm just saying, if there's a lot of cuts, you need to get it in there. So it's not going to count for a lot of cuts. And the siding, it should have a waste factor in it. But again, you're going to have folks that are going to say, no, that's already approved. But you're going to see a lot of adjuster estimates that's going to have the waste factor in there without having to be asked to put it there. So you'll see that State Farm didn't go with it on this particular estimate, but it's in our estimate. Remove siding, remove fan fold insulation, remove house wrap, replace the fan fold, replace the house wrap, replace the siding. That's the right elevation. Rear elevation, we have the gutters, remove the siding, remove the fan fold, remove the house wrap, replace the fan fold, replace the house wrap, replace the siding. Left elevation, same thing. All right, general conditions, dumpster, and you can see we had a total of 22,378.66. We submitted that to State Farm, knowing they're not going to approve everything, but we do list everything. That's what we do. There's no magic formula. There's no secret. There's no special form that we use. We simply use excellent, outstanding documentation, and we itemize every single thing that should be on the estimate, knowing that sometimes all of it's going to get approved. Most of the time, there's going to be resistance, but where we end up is going to be at a higher place than where it would have been had we not have started with listing all of those items. Okay, so now we go to the results. The revised State Farm estimate. This is where we ended up not long after. Here's the example page. Here's the roof. Remove shingles. We've got the felt, shingles with waste. Remove and replace the roll roofing. Did not give us waste there, but as you can see, they did do something right. R&R on everything. Flashing pipe jacks, vents, exhaust caps, L flashing, and the chimney flashing. Those are things that they, whoops, sorry to skip around here. Those are things that they did not have to begin with, okay? Sorry to make you dizzy with the scrolling. All right, so they didn't have those things to begin with, but they've got them now. They've also have the detach and reset meter mast, 354.61, ice and water shield. Didn't have enough, but they got it. Drip edge, step flashing. There'll probably have to be another round of this after the job's done to get some of the omissions that were wrong in there. But R&R, the garage door frame, all that stuff is the same, except for where you see down here begin revisions. They included the fan fold insulation. Everything is the same on the right elevation except for the fan fold insulation. Let's see, going into the rear elevation, they've included the fan fold insulation and the fan fold insulation on the left elevation, same thing there. And didn't give us much more than the single axle dump truck. And as you can see, we ended up at 15,864.44. So to recap, we started here, 13,090.62. We submitted an estimate for 23,378.66. And your final results, small wins are good wins too. And depending on who you talk to, $2,800 might not be considered a small win. 15,864.44. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something new. We'll keep these coming out. This was a smaller win with the $2,800. We've got like 6 or 7 that we've been editing and kind of getting ready to make videos with, and we're going to roll out a lot more of these going forward. The feedback has been tremendous. I thank you guys so much for really having that passion to learn more, hungry for new information. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find it by searching Insurance Restoration Training. You could also find us on overheadandprofit.com. And if you hadn't found any value from this video, please hit the like button. Hope you guys are having an awesome week. Keep on winning. Keep adapting, adjusting always.